how do I know if a photographer I want to shoot with is safe or not? As a model, you may be receiving some DMs from photographers who want to collab or do TFP, time for print, with you. Time for print means nobody is getting paid. You don't pay the photographer, they don't pay you. It's all about the time spent on the pictures. Let's clarify something. If you want to be a fashion model and be signed with an agency and work with clients, you won't need the same kind of pictures as someone who just wants pretty pictures or who wants OnlyFans pictures or something. Most of my tips are for girls who want to build their portfolio for modeling, for fashion modeling and commercial modeling. But still, the basic safety tips apply for any kind of modeling. With all that in mind, here is how to determine if a photographer is safe to shoot or not, and if it would really benefit your portfolio. So first, we're gonna take a look at their Instagram page, if they contacted you on Instagram. When you look at the photographer's page, if the first thing you see is a lot of boobies, a lot of asses, but not in a tasteful way, if that's the case, they are probably a boudoir photographer. You have to ask yourself, is that the kind of photo I want to do? Do you want to be a boudoir model? Or do you want to be a fashion model? If so, then it's not necessarily the kind of pictures that you would need for your portfolio. Also, most of the time, photographers who claim to be boudoir photographers are just amateurs who want to have people naked, because boudoir photography is actually a form of photography where there is some actual really good photographers there, like real professional photographers, but most of the people who claim to be boudoir photographers are just people who want to shoot nudes. So, if you're wondering how to make the difference between a nude shot by a professional or a guy with camera, it's a lot in the attitudes, the way it's lit, the way it's posed, the way it's framed. Guys with camera, they tend to go full on nudity and like very much more sexual in attitudes, more in the nose. They don't really have any elegance in the way it's shot and in the way it's styled and framed. But yeah, in general, a good rule of thumb I would say is to ask yourself, do these pictures make me uncomfortable? Because very often when they make you uncomfortable, it's pictures from a guy with camera. In general, these pictures are kind of cringe, you know? The pictures are still pretty. If you feel like, oh, I'd show that to my mom, that's probably a professional. Yeah, that's my 2 cents on that. Second thing, is their full name on their Instagram page? If yes, that's a good point. So then you can research them a bit. Like you can check on their Facebook or if they have a website. You never know, they may be on the sex offender register or something. And if their name is not on their Instagram page, then ask them. And if they don't want to give it to you, here's a red flag, because your safety is more important than them being mysterious and edgy. And also, on their pictures, the final edits, not their raw pictures, on the final edits they post on their Instagram, is there a watermark, which is like their signature, on the photo? If it's the case, then it's gonna be a waste of your time because you can't use pictures with watermarks for your portfolio, so that won't benefit you. If they don't have any sample of the photography on their page, then there's no way you know how the pictures are gonna come out. So I would say it's a waste of your time. Do they have a website? Most professional photographers do. Amateurs, not necessarily, but it's good to check if they do. And collabing with an amateur can be good, especially at the beginning when you don't have good pictures, but there may not be the pictures that end up in your portfolio in the long run. When you look at their page, do you know any of the models they shot with? If yes, you can ask the other girls or the other people, how was the experience? Then we're gonna look at the red flags in their messages, because gosh, there can be some red flags in how they talk. So, except in the context of a lingerie or boudoir shoot, if they ask for photos of you naked or in underwear to see your figure or check your lingerie or check your potential, whatever, that's a red flag. A professional photographer will never ask you to send nudes or underwear pictures. Any comments that are sexual in nature or anything that you deem inappropriate, that's also a red flag. If that's the case, don't hesitate to tell them that they crossed the line and that they made you uncomfortable. So hopefully they would be more careful and act accordingly. Or if they really are shady individual, you'll see because they won't change at all their behavior. If they claim to be affiliated with an agency, with a brand, or with a model or whatever, check if that's true. So like look if the agency or client or whatever is actually following them. And if you cannot find any proof of these affiliations, chances are they're lying. A photographer who refuses for you to come with a chaperone is a red flag, because your safety is more important. If you're underage, then you have to go to shoots with an adult, like always, for safety. Even if it's your agency sending you, it's always better to have an adult there. If you have doubts on any individual you have an agency, then don't hesitate to send them the photographer in question to have their opinion. If you don't have an agency, if you have a friend or someone you think you could ask. But if you have doubts, it may be because you're right to have doubts, and just be careful, okay? Listen to your guts. Your safety comes first, before pictures. And at the end of the day, remember, anything they ask from you that makes you uncomfortable, it's okay to say no. Even if they promise some money, it's okay to say no. Have your boundaries. Overall, trust your guts. If something feels wrong and unsafe, then it probably is. Like, I would say your strongest ally is your guts. Shooting with a sketchy photographer not only endangers you, which is first and foremost the worst, but it also has consequences on your image. A photographer who sexualizes you too much, in the poses, in the attitudes, in the angles, the editing, is gonna cheapen your image. And that's not good for clients and agencies. So you don't want that if you want to be a fashion model. What I recommend to build your portfolio is to ask for collabs to photographers whose work you really like and who seem to be the kind of stuff that you would see in the agencies' portfolios. Don't hesitate to DM photographers in your area. If they say no, because sometimes they just don't have anything to gain from collabing with a new face, it's okay. Sometimes it's also good to purchase some very good professional images. So I recommend checking out sites of photographers who you saw worked with agencies. Go on the agency's Instagram and see what photographer shot which test shoots. You want to shoot with a photographer who did some test shoots for agencies, and these are the photographers who can shoot your portfolio. So these are the ones I recommend if you want to invest on your portfolio, put actual money. It's better to do it with photographers who shot for agencies than photographers who never worked with an agency, because they know what clients and agencies are looking for, so they'll be able to help you choose the outfits and they'll know what to shoot, you know. But sometimes you can get some really good images from collabs. For your portfolio at the beginning, you want some really simple stuff, so very basic outfits, not anything crazy going on with the light, not much makeup. Like, you don't want an artsy makeup at the beginning of your portfolio. Yeah, it's gonna be a lot about learning how to pose, learning how to feel comfortable in front of the camera, more than doing some crazy, beautiful, spectacular editorial at the beginning. You're just gonna be focusing on getting your book, being comfortable and learning your angles and just having the basic pictures that will get you in the agency. So I hope this video was helpful. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to DM me on Instagram, and you can add on the comments if you have any other red flags in mind. If you have any bad anecdote or experience about a photographer, don't hesitate to put it in the comments below so we can all learn from your experience. I'm open to hearing all of your stories, and if you want, I'll be doing my own anecdotes about bad photographers. So thank you so much, and I'll be seeing you soon for another video. Bye bye!